Okay, I want to talk a little bit about decision control structures and iteration control structures within PHP. Essentially, here's our syntax. You can see that we have we can assign a variable back here to capture, for example, the results of the date function. We can do an if test like this. Note that our test has to be within parentheses, and then whatever code we want to execute if that test is true would be inside of these squiggly brackets. Then there was the else there as well. So as we look, for example, here at PHP operators, we can see that we can test for equality. Here's a special one that's kind of unique to PHP, the triple equal sign. It's true if A is equal to B and they are of the same type. So they're both strings, they're both integers, something like that. There's the not equal. There's another way of doing not equal, similar to the triple equal sign. True if A is not equal to B or they are not of the same type. Less than, greater than, that, so forth. Switch case. You've probably seen that in other languages, for example. But here's the example of a switch case. We pass the variable in there. It's very similar to an if-else structure. There's the variable we want to test against, destination. If the destination is Utah, we'll print out that, break. If the destination is Mexico, print out that, break. Break just takes us out of the switch statement, meaning that we're done, and we should have one of those for every case. The default, that's what we do if nothing else matches. So this is kind of red. If it's Utah, do this. Else if it's Mexico, do this. Else, do this. If is set, we can test to see if a particular variable is set. So we can say if var, and I've set it right there, but if var exists and is set, we can do something. Trim does what it says. It trims white space from the variable. So here I have hello with some white space, everyone. As I concatenate those together and print those out, you can see that the white space is in there. However, if we use trim and then print those out, it'll get rid of the white space. So a helpful function there. Loops, real quick on loops. We have for, while, do while, and for each. Here's our for loop, our initial condition, our test expression, and our incrementer. Start at 0. As long as it's less than 10, we'll go increment and we will do our loop. While. Start off our initial condition, test expression, there's our incrementer. Do while, and this is very similar to a while, except it's always executed at least once. And here's what we do. We open up our loop. There's the initial condition, there's our incrementer, there's our test expression. For each, this is very useful for looping through items in an array. So we pass in the array itself, and we're going to loop through each value in the array and execute this code. So here's an example where I have an array of 1, 2, 3, stored as array x. So for each value in x, we're going to loop through and print out the value. Type it in, see what it does. It should print out 1, 2, 3 separated by breaks. So that's it on loops and if statements.